The silent generation grew up with less of everything. Less money, less noise, and fewer choices. But from all that lack came patience, resourcefulness, and a deep love for the simple things. They didn't spoil you, they slowed you down. Silent generation grandparents weren't focused on staying young forever. They embraced aging, made peace with the past, and didn't treat your childhood like a second shot at theirs. They also weren't in competition. They were in position to love, teach, and support. No passive aggressive shade, no comparing you to their neighbor's kid, in overalls and house shoes. They weren't always loud, but they were always there. At your recital, on the phone, at the window with a plate. Where baby boomers got busy chasing youth or side hustles, the silent generation gave you their presence as a gift. They were the doers, not posters. They taught you how to gut a fish, hem pants, pray before eating, and to mind your manners in a stranger's house. Their love wasn't filtered. It was folded into cornbread and early morning rides. The silent generation didn't raise influencers. They raised humans with values, patience, and presence. And they didn't need applause because their legacy was never about being seen. It was about seeing us.
I'm not letting nobody else take my light no more, bro. I'm sick of being taken advantage of. And what I realized, a preacher in Mississippi told me this. He said, you keep playing Jesus and wonder why you end up on the cross.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail, but more importantly, you saw the clip. This time, I was on the other side of this equation years ago, but you can't blame all this stuff on the boomers. Now you just can't do it. And I'm going to tell you some reasons. First and foremost, some of y'all don't realize those people in the silent generation, and I was raised by my grandparents. A lot of people like in my age group, we had that going on. But y'all want people to be like the parents, the grandparents of the silent generation. But y'all want to be like that in the same way y'all talk about boomers being selfish. Y'all want to do the same thing. Y'all need somebody who has that type of demeanor so you could use them. You get what I'm saying? And you got to understand this other thing about the boomers in that situation. You do realize some of these boomers, their parents was a silent generation. They saw how their parents got done. They didn't want to be that. They saw all the sacrifices that their parents made, and they made a lot of sacrifices for people who were ungrateful. That's one of the reasons why they didn't go down that road. That's one of the reasons. It's not the only reason, but it's one of the reasons. Now, the other thing about, raising the grandkids, and I very much so appreciate all my grandparents, very much so, Um, a lot of y'all don't put two and two together. See, a lot of y'all don't realize that if your grandparents was raising you, either they did it straight out of love because your parents were so doing such the right thing that they didn't charge them, or they did it out of love because your parent was such a screw up. They needed it. You needed it. Or on the flip side of that, you had grandparents who would charge you. Like, no, you out here clowning around. No, you gonna pay me. And then you had the kids who would be like, listen, they'll pay their parents. Like, listen, thank you for doing this, even though you're not gonna. You told me, don't you're not charging me. I'm gonna still give you something. So that amount of integrity is not nowadays. Y'all don't have that type of integrity. You get what I'm saying? Now, one thing I can say about boomers and some of Gen X. My wife just said that to me, just told me a few minutes ago. A lot of y'all don't realize um, sometimes boomers and some of Gen X, a lot of y'all never left the house. You never left the house. You got grown in the mug. I'm grown, and then you had kids and y'all ain't left the house. Yeah, these people tired of y'all. These people tired of y'all. They can't wait till y'all. If you finally left the house at 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and you're like, man, they don't watch the kids no more. They bro, you didn't give them enough time to themselves. That's a you issue. So That's a whole nother part of that equation that we don't talk about. And we just gonna have to get into something real. You're not reliable. The thing about we talk about like the silent generation is they were reliable people. This is not a reliable era of people. Y'all can't answer the phone half the time, and it's on you. And can't nobody depend on you. And then the another part is a lot of y'all ain't having kids anyways. What is you concerned about grandparents for when you don't even have kids? Shut up. See, this is in this time period. The thing about social media and television, it has a lot of ideologies that aren't really based in real life. So a lot of y'all have what do you call it? Fantasy anxiety. If this possibly could happen, see, I'm not gonna do this because this could possibly happen, but it never happened because you never even attempted. So, paralysis of analysis. Y'all scared to do anything, but you got a reason why everything is bad. Don't nobody want to hear that at a certain point. So you got to take into consideration it's not all the boomers' fault. Now, truth be told, the like we've climbed as a group up the social ladder since the silent generation. Silent generation, baby boomers, um, Gen X, some of the older millennials. The progress in class has been upward over those years. So, and one of the reasons is, and some of y'all not gonna want to hear this, as a person who was raised, by my grandparents, they had a thing where it was like, don't help everybody. Don't help everybody. Everybody don't need help. Everybody not just need. Everybody don't deserve help. Everybody didn't earn help. Learn how to have what you call that. What those church people call it? Discernment. Learn to have discernment when you help people. See, y'all had this naive thing where you're just supposed to help and love everybody unconditionally. That's why, to a degree, a lot of the silent generation, they died. They didn't die broke, but that unconditional love for everybody is what caused issues with quote unquote one of the things that caused issues with generational wealth because they put stuff in the hands of dummies and they knew it. You get what I'm saying? But they love these people. But they told you don't do it. Don't do it. And some of y'all don't realize it, but those people smart as I don't know what. Sometimes you don't realize the older generation gave people property and money and people had to split it up between the siblings and all that other stuff. Y'all don't realize this, but a lot of what happened and when people just blew all the money, that was those silent generations way because they'll tell other people, listen, I'm leaving everybody X, Y, and Z. And they'll go, why you leaving them such and such? Like, listen, whatever they do with that, if they do good right and they do good with it, cool. But if they mess that up, don't none of y'all help them. They got it. They got it. You ain't responsible for them. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of y'all don't know the other side of that story because that's part of the fracture with some of the family doing well and some of the family doing not well in the last, like, we just say 50 years. That's why that is. And a lot of y'all don't get that. Now going back to what I said initially in the beginning, a lot of y'all don't want to hear this, but you as much as we fantasize and love their integrity and they will stand up people and they look out for everybody. Y'all don't want to be, y'all not looking to be that. A lot of y'all don't have the same traits as these silent generation grandparents that we love so much. A lot of y'all are too damn selfish to have it ain't it's all about you. A lot of y'all just want to be the doted upon and loved grandchild again. See, And the reason I can say that is because I said it before in our society. I know because who house you supposed to be going over Thanksgiving? Grandma and grandpa. No, your house, dumbass. You was a child. You was a child when grandma and grandpa was doing Thanksgiving at their house and Christmas and Veterans Day and Memorial Day and the 4th of July. You was a child then. They was in their 30s and 40s and 50s, 60s. And then somebody was supposed to take over, and nobody wanted to take over. And all y'all just want to, well, I can't wait to have somebody like Grandma. I know you can't. Cause you don't want to. It never dawned on you. You never bought the turkey. You never made the stuffing. You never made the macaroni and cheese. You never was on the barbecue pit. Basically, you know, it declined. We basically went from the people who throwing to get together, who had all this love for the family, to a bunch of people showing up with ice, paper plates, and cups. And y'all just waiting one day. When they gonna come? Y'all waiting on these silent generation people to come back like Jesus. Cause you don't want to. You don't want to take in your nieces and nephews and if your kids have kids, you don't really want to do that. You want somebody to do it for you. And the sad part about it is you want somebody to do it for you so bad that when you wind up being in that position, you're not gonna do it out of spite. Seen it plenty of times enough. And be the same people like, man, I wish I had somebody like this. No, they did their thing. If I'm in Gen X, I don't have no grandkids yet, but that happens. And I love my silent generation grandparents so much. I'm gonna be just like that. But a lot of y'all, when y'all get in that position to be that, that's not what y'all are. That's not what y'all are whatsoever. Y'all, and I hate to do this because sometimes baby boomers get a just deserving rap, and sometimes they get a bad rap. But y'all gonna be just like them. The bad part that you talking about, y'all gonna be just like them. Because y'all don't know how much the responsibility is. Y'all don't know how much that actually costs. It never dawned on you why your grandparents never really was extravagant because they were taking care of everybody. You like nice things. They could have had nice things. They just chose not to. So what's it gonna be? The nice things, or be grandma and grandpa? We know what people choosing. So let's not lie about it. Uh, but that's all I got to say about that. But like, share, subscribe, catch you on the next one. Tell me what you think. Peace. You ever been at the top of the universe? I'm gonna say it again.